What's going on, everyone? So, great news. The Los Angeles Lakers have officially locked up Jarred Vanderbilt to that extension. So, one of the things that we talked about here on this channel was the likelihood that Jarred Vanderbilt would receive an extension before we get into training camp. The Lakers, they just want to get everything locked up, everything out of the way. You don't want, especially when you're trying to compete and contend for an NBA championship, you don't want anything looming over you, right? Like Anthony Davis, they could have waited on. Why? Get it done. You're keeping him long term anyway. You know he's going to get the max regardless. Go get him locked up. And that way you don't have that cloud and the media and everybody kind of just throwing out, like, is Anthony Davis leaving if something bad happens, right? Anthony Davis misses a week or something. It's like, oh, see, are the Lakers going to give? No, it's just everything's locked up. You know what the goal is. Let's get it done. Same thing with Jarred Vanderbilt, right? You don't want that cloud of like, oh, are they going to end up trading Vando? Is he going to end up leaving, right? It just becomes a distraction. You get everything done. You get everything out of the way. You know you're planning on keeping Vando long term. You try to get him on the best deal possible. And the Lakers absolutely got him on the best deal. So I said I thought he would be about 12 to 15 million. And I said it would be better to lock him up now also, because if he does improve, let's say this season he's like 36 to 38% from three-point range, the price of him is going to skyrocket. And if you wait for him to get to the open market, his price probably skyrockets. And now you got to try to outbid all these guys. I mean, if he legitimately averages like 36 to 38%, especially closer to 38% from three this year, with the level of defense that he is, I mean, he's arguably, if not the best defensive guy, like on-ball defender in the entire league. His ability to defend pretty much every position. I mean, obviously you don't want him on like the Jokic's or the Embiids of the world, but like even in some cases, he's held his own against some of the centers in the league. Again, don't want him doing that regularly, but the ability to switch is just massive. And so if he got to the open market, it'd probably be closer to 15, if not more, a year. And if he shot 38%, I mean, you could be talking 18 to 20 million a year. I mean, that's the going rate for most of these guys, these 3-and-D defensive guys, right? Especially with caps going up every year and all that. Like, I mean, he would probably get a lot more money. But the Lakers were able to lock him up to a 4-year, $48 million contract. To me, that's a steal. That is an absolute steal. Because you're talking about a guy who, one, he was eligible up to a 4-year, $75 million extension, if I'm not mistaken. So you're talking about almost double what he got, right? And now you got him for $12 million a year. That gives you so much flexibility for the future. I mean, they were able to get... think about this for a second. The Lakers could have easily, in extensions, paid out like $200 million, right? Because D'Angelo Russell could have gotten a max. He could have gotten at least, 36 to 40 million a year. Not saying that he would have or he should have or anything like that, but they got him for 2 years, 18 million apiece. You have Austin Reeves, who could have been 4 years, 100 million or 110 million or whatever his max was, right? And they got him for half of that, 4 years, 52 million. And then Jarred Vanderbilt, you're talking he could have easily gotten 75 million over 4 years. You got him for 48 million. Rui Hachimura, he could have gotten something like 22 million, something like that over like the 4-year period. They got him for like 18 or 17 and a half million. I mean, like, you go over all of the players that the Lakers were able to acquire and the money in which they gave them, and all of them were a bargain. Right? Like, the only one that you could really make an argument that maybe they slightly paid over is Rui, because he's still a bit of an unknown, but like, not by much. If he was on the open market, he probably would have gotten like 15 to 17 million, and the Lakers got him for like 17 and a half million. So now you have basically your entire core locked up for the next 4 years. That is everything you could ask for and more. And if Jarred Vanderbilt, which he should continue to improve, he's young enough, right? Every year, year in and year out, his contract is very likely going to get better and better. If he shoots 36% from three this year, then he's worth way more than his contract. His defense alone is probably worth more than his $12 million a year contract. Like, this was just such a solid acquisition and pickup for them to begin with last year. Like, he was the guy that I was preaching, right? When there was all the talks and all the rumors of the Utah trade. I said, there's no way you do the Utah trade without Jarred Vanderbilt. He's the only player that makes sense. Like Malik Beasley, like all those guys, like those are all cute and all, but Jarred Vanderbilt is the prize. He's the piece. Because defensively, he's the best defender. And then offensively, you'd imagine he should only improve because he's young. I mean, he doubled his three-point percentage last year. Like from the previous year into last year. Not saying that he's going to do that this year because then he'd be at like 55% from three. But can he just get to, like I said, like just around league average? Because of his defense, how good he is defensively, league average is around 35%. Just get to that. If he could just be league average with his elite defense, I mean, good luck trying to stop this guy, right? I mean, the guy he's just that energy. He just impacts the game in so many ways. He's so nice. The one caveat to him is his offensive liability. He is our worst offensive player. If we're going off of what we saw last year. Again, I hope he took great strides this year. Right? I mean, there was that scrimmage footage. He's like dribbling the ball out there, crossing dudes up, taking it to the rim off the dribble. Like, like that's something, like if we could see that, like the three things that I really wanted to see from Jarred Vanderbilt this year, obviously improved three-point shooting. I wanted to see improved dribbling and improved coordination. Right? Like, because we saw last year, teams sag off of him in the corner. They forget about him. They stop paying attention. He cuts towards the rim. He gets a nice pass, and he either just fumbles it or he doesn't gather it properly and then tries to go up and gets blocked by the rim or misses at the rim, and that becomes a problem, right? Where I wanted him to work on that. I wanted him to work on his dribbling and his ball handling skills, because I would love if he could kind of evolve and mold into like a Lamar Odom type, right? Where he could just get the ball off the rebound and just go coast to coast. If he can, make a play for somebody else. Otherwise, just take it to the loop. I'm not saying he has to be as smooth as Lamar or anything like that. I'm just speaking of like that big, long, lengthy, versatile, could do everything type of wing. Like if he can evolve into that, that would be amazing. And his ability to just catch around the rim, whether or not he's grown, supposedly he's grown, 2 inches. I mean, even if he hasn't, he's still 6'8", right? Like, and if you could have him just go coast to coast. We've seen him do that last year a couple times, but it was like clumsy. Like there wasn't confidence in it. I want to see him gain that confidence in it. Where, hey, Vando, if you get the rebound, just go. Don't wait for LeBron or Reeves or D'Lo or whomever to come and have to go take the time to go get the ball. No, just take off, go, push it. I would like to see him be able to do that. And then obviously the improved three-point shooting, because his ability to knock down the three ball will be very important, because he's going to get a lot of wide open looks just like last year, because teams can't defend everybody. If let's say we do the starting unit of last year, you can't double team Anthony Davis, double team LeBron James, guard Austin Reeves, guard D'Lo, and guard Jarred Vanderbilt, right? So how do you defend? You just leave Jarred Vanderbilt, who can't shoot three. You leave him wide open in the corner, and if he beats you, he beats you. And you double AD, you have that guy on LeBron, you have that guy on Austin Reeves and D'Lo, and you make LeBron a three-point shooter, and you just don't even worry about Jarred Vanderbilt. Well, if now you have to worry about Jarred Vanderbilt, how do you stop this Lakers team? Like, how? And if he doesn't have improved three-point shooting, I'm curious to see how much he plays. Right? Like, because if he's kind of where he was last year, right, as far as like three-point shooting go, I don't think he's going to get 20 minutes, 25 minutes a game. I know a lot of people want him to, but like we have too many just perimeter 3-and-D wing guys on this roster that, yes, they're not elite level defensively as Jarred Vanderbilt, but they're good enough and they can knock down, like Taurean Prince. Taurean Prince is a good defensive guy that could guard 1 through 4, just like Jarred Vanderbilt, and he shoots 39% from 3. So what would you rather have? A guy that shoots almost 40% from 3 and can still defend all of those guys that Jarred Vanderbilt can, or Jarred Vanderbilt who can defend all those guys but can't give you anything on the offensive end, right? And you also have Cam Reddish, who he can defend. He's athletic. He can defend 1 through 4 just like Vando, right? Like you have Rui, who offensively, we'll see how he is defensively, right? Like you have other guys. I'm not saying Jarred Vanderbilt's not going to play at all, but very likely what my guess would be that he would end up being in like that specialty role, right? He probably starts the first 5 minutes and closes the first 5 minutes, and he's guarding the best player on the other team, so he can kind of just conserve his energy. Don't worry about it on the offensive end. We just need you to lock down Luka or lock down Kyrie or lock down Steph or lock whatever, right? Like that's probably what he evolves into. But I hope he's so good you can't take him off the court. Like I hope like he's playing, let's say everyone's getting 30 minutes a game and Vando's the only player getting 32 minutes a game because he's just too good. Right, he's just locking the dude up on the other end and just dropping buckets on this end. I would love for that to happen. Right, I would love if he could just give us 2 or 3 threes a game. Like that would just be perfect. Like average, right? Average 2 or 3 made threes a game. Like that would be nice. Will he? I don't know. I get a lot of comments, people that'll never have, that'll never. Jarred Vanderbilt will never, ever in his career average 2 or 3 made threes a game. Like stop. Right? Like if you want to say he might not do it this year, okay, maybe just because there are so many guys. But you never know. It depends on how many minutes he plays and how wide open he is in the corner. If teams just leave him open, you'd be surprised. Right? And it depends on how improved he is. But regardless, I'm pumped. I'm glad the Lakers got everyone locked up. There's no concerns, no worries. We're straight. And we can kind of focus on this season and going and winning this NBA championship. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You pumped? You excited? How do you feel about Jarred Vando being a Laker for the next 4 years? I love that we got this locked up. Also, I mean, not that they should, but you never know. This also helps if you ever have to trade him or anything, because he's got a very good stackable salary, right? That's definitely something worth noting, but it's not something that's like I expect, but you never know, right? Like Giannis becomes available next year and it's like, all right, whatever you want, here you go, open it up. So just keep in mind. But anyway, again, love your thoughts and opinions down in the comments.